The next station will be Fortuna 69.
If it wasn't obvious already, I equally enjoy writing as well as the story potential behind Warframe, which is basically the reason why this even exists. It's sort of true that fan-made lore is sort of cringeworthy, but given that it's enjoyable and that my channel's already ventured into cringe territory, I don't really care about it. If there's anything I find upsetting, at least from a personal perspective, it's how ridiculously slow DE is to give us anything new in terms of story or lore for Warframe. Of course, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the work-from-home policies that DE is currently following is an excuse for it, but prior to that and at every other point, anything new that would drive the main story forward or even just give us something new about the in-game world seems to be limited to mainline updates only, which come around once in a blue moon. I've always been in favor of increasing the amount of lore nerd shit that DE puts out, simply because it gives the community more to learn about the world of Warframe while simultaneously attempting to understand it. Even though all of us sort of constantly joke about how delayed the Duviri Paradox update is going to be, from a standpoint of story I'm still very interested in it, because I'm quite curious about everything that the Duviri Paradox implies, such as adult operators and all the space magic shenanigans that it entails. But even then, I'm still sort of annoyed over how there's really no solid attempt from DE to build on the story they themselves are making. The Levirian is cool because it gives a little bit of backstory and flavor text for each Warframe in the game, but honestly speaking, by the time we get a Levirian entry for every Warframe in the game, Warframe 2 will already be announced. Previously made Warframe comics are also another great little thing, but just like the Levirian, it's not frequently made. Besides that, I would say that Warframe relying on comics for storytelling isn't a reliable idea, on account of Warframe being a free-to-play game. Nowadays you can read practically any comic you want online with a simple Google search, so trying to sell lore alongside comics doesn't seem like a good idea, at least, financially speaking. For comparison, as much as I hate League of Legends, the way that they've started handling their lore for the last year or so is honestly kind of impressive, especially given that LoL started off as a simple game of 5 versus 5, whereas now they've stepped up their game with new games within the same universe on the way, alongside an animated TV show. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that people would love to watch an animated Warframe TV show, but the issues that come with that are organization, funding, and overall creation. The only animated work we can really expect from DE are cinematic cutscenes and simple game hype material, so honestly I don't think that expecting DE to announce an animated series for Warframe ever is a realistic thought, especially with everything that DE has on their plate right now.
Wave those paws in the air, spin around like Fred Astaire. Slip me five if we can jive, that's Geraldine's routine. Lift those puppies off the ground, swing those hips and shake them down. It's rag, it's razz, it's snazzy jazz. It's Geraldine's routine. Wave those paws in the air, spin around like Fred Astaire. Slip me five if we can jive, that's Geraldine's routine. Lift those puppies off the ground, swing those hips and shake them down. Let's hump, let's jump, let's thumpity bump. It's Geraldine's routine.
Although it's true that fan-made animations of Warframe and such do exist elsewhere such as on YouTube, the vast majority of them are nothing even remotely related to the lore of Warframe, instead being just simple action flicks and such. That being said, I'm sort of surprised that nobody, not even DE themselves, has attempted to hire a third party to just make an animated series or anything of that type. Crowdfunding is a popular trend nowadays, and demand for story-related content in Warframe is always high, or at least, it's high among those who still play Warframe. What exactly could be considered animated story material? I would say that question can be answered with another question. What in Warframe can't be animated story material? Because seriously, the amount of content we have that we don't know much about is kind of staggering. But that's just me being obsessive over lore material, which is simply just another thing I can add onto my growing list of things to obsess over. Thank you for watching.
I got the horses in the bag, horse stock is attached. Head is matted black, got the bushes black to match. Riding on a horse, you can whip your Porsche. I've been in the valley, you ain't that porch now. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
Duh.